I took that time away from card issuing, legal, DAO partners, and related assets because I think we're spending more of our time on the launch campaigns and the app itself. But still, 35%, not bad at all. We're moving forward. On the lead side of things, you can see we have plus zero new emails. We have 15 of 30K committed. Oh no, this is for in the multi-sig actually. Okay, let's put this in the multi-sig. We have 8. All right, so we have 15 committed, and we have 8 actually in the multi-sig right now. We need between 16 and 30,000 US dollars to actually launch this thing in 6 weeks, and so we're working hard to try to get that money in the multi-sig so that we can use it to pay. We also have 12% completion of the alpha app. I created a new method to review the completion of the alpha app, so we will take a look at that. And I added this one for you, Coffee Crusher, percent completion of launch campaign planning. I'm not really sure if this is a good metric, but maybe we can talk about it a little bit later.
Okay. Yeah, I was just trying to think, it's like, how would I compute it in percentages? But okay.
Yeah, we don't have to do it like this. We can do something different, but the important part is just to have like some sort of accountability loop for each of our efforts here.
Yep.
That's what, yeah. So that's what the lead metrics are. Team-wide announcements. What? Hey, Tom, did you have something to say?
Nope, nothing particularly bad, sir.
Okay, I just saw you on mute. And Hazu's here. I'm so glad because I don't think Haz was here last week, and our recording is not really viewable. So I wanted to make sure that you're on the same page as the rest of us, Hazu. I'll just pop you up here to speak. But yeah, we're aiming to launch mid to late November this year. We have an opportunity to get the POC out. It's going to cost us around 16 to 30,000 US dollars, which includes just mainly the costs, not including our labor or anything like that. But if we get this out, remember the POC, the proof of concept, is pretty much what all investors right now are asking for.
Sorry, I just wanted to comment something because maybe there is some way to check it. But here right now is my 6 a.m. and that's why also I've been not in the next week because it's like super early. I'm working until 1 a.m. so that's why. I don't know if it's possible in the future to have a recording better, but if not, I'm gonna try to send this.
Yeah, Tundi, you're taking a recording right now, right?
No, not really, but
no, not you, Hazu. Not saying you, Hazu. I'm asking Tundi.
Yes, I am. I'm recording.
Okay, awesome. So Tundi is recording it. We have gotten Winverse, and Tundi have been consistently getting the recordings out. It's just last week that the audio wasn't good. So sorry about that, Hazu. But in general, we record the meeting every week. So hopefully, even if it's at a bad time for you, you can still review the meet another time. But since it didn't happen last week, I just wanted to explain a little bit about the proof of concept. Because we're gonna aim to launch this year, which means that we have to go through diligence, which we can do in 6 to 8 weeks, which puts us at mid to late November, and which means that we can potentially get this card out to people in their hands, ready for their Christmas spending. And I think that that's really important that we get that Christmas spending. After Christmas, there's just less spending in general. But if we can onboard something like 1,000 users between Bankless DAO and Nouns DAO in the USA, it would be a big success for us. We don't have to hit 1,000 users necessarily, but if we hit 1,000 users and they're doing about 60% of the interchange revenue that they said that they were going to do according to our surveys, then we have proven that the POC is a success. And we will be able to negotiate a deal to start making revenue off of those users in the new year. So starting in January, if everything goes well, we could now be making revenue from all the efforts that we're doing. And that revenue is what we can use to essentially continue funding development of this product. And we can also use that to get investors. Okay, so all this to say, if we do this POC correctly, if we create the app, and it's easy to use, and we have our launch campaigns working with Bankless DAO and Nouns DAO, and we get enough people that are in the US on this platform and using the card, in January, in February, we could be making revenue from these users. Okay, so this is what's really, really exciting for me. I think that this is not only can we be making revenue, we could potentially even raise a fundraising round for that $2 million that we're saying that we need to go to a broad worldwide launch. Okay, so that's an update I wanted to give everyone. We thought it was going to cost us hundreds of thousands of dollars to launch this thing. We're going to try to do it for less than $30,000. And if we do that, we can start making some recurring revenue. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yes. Sorry. Yes, it does. It's great.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And it's going to that's great. And it's going to take, it's going to take efforts from everyone. We're working on the app side. We're working on the launch campaign side. We're working on the diligence side with the bank. But if we put all of these things together, if we all do our effort and contribute in the way that we can, we have all the pieces in place that we need to launch in mid to late November. Okay. We have everything that we need. The only thing that we're missing right now is a little bit of money, but even so, we are committed. The amounts of money that is committed by Bankless DAO individuals is essentially the amount that we need to launch this thing in a bare bones low end side of things. Okay, so we have 15K committed. We need about 16K to actually potentially launch on the low end. So pretty much we have almost everything we need. We just have to put in our effort to make it happen. Okay, and then we can be launching by Christmas. So that's really, really exciting for me. Next team-wide announcement, payroll, out the door. I'm sorry it was late. I actually missed August's payroll, and I totally forgot. And so I'm really sorry. I thought that I had been doing it monthly, but August was a very difficult month for me as I kind of hurt myself. So I'm sorry I completely missed it. But it's out the door now. Sorry to anyone who was waiting. You can see the Etherscan link there right now. In terms of new member intros, I don't see anyone new, so I'm going to go down into our milestone perspectives. Funding. We have the funding needed to launch the proof of concept. Okay, so we looked at the costs that we need, and I got on a call with TransCard yesterday to validate them. To support 1,000 users over 6 months, we expect it to take around $17,000. So this is the amount here. You can see some of my assumptions here. We're going to be onboarding users at this rate, but it doesn't matter. If we got them all in month one, it wouldn't be terrible either. And it costs a certain amount to onboard users. There's the program setup fee, but for physical and shipping and cards and digital cards, essentially it's going to cost us around $6,000. So if we had, for instance, way more users go on than 1,000, then we might have some problems, but ultimately that wouldn't be a bad thing because then we could turn those into revenue almost immediately. On card customization, we have 2 cards that we're going to launch. We're going to be launching a Nouns DAO card and a Bankless DAO card. And so this is what that card customization fee is. I budgeted $500 a month for customer acquisition campaigns. I suspect this will mainly be external campaigns, but we can use it however we want, even if we're going to be doing some internal assets for Nouns DAO and Bankless DAO. Our salaries $0 right now. I put this because I'm sharing this with investors, and I want those investors to know that we are working on this. Essentially, we're paying for our salaries in bank right now, and in some cases, we're not even paying in bank. We're paying in future BCard. Actually, I take almost all of my compensation in future BCard because I am more interested in future BCard than anything else. But everyone has their own level that they are happy with. Anyone who does any work for Bankless Card will get future BCard. So even if you've said that you're going to defer 0%, you're still going to get some BCard. I've also allocated on the high end, I put 100 here for software licenses. I upped this to 500 in the low end because we had some extra space here. We're looking at some of the software licenses we need, including things like price history for Taxman. Well, it turns out we'll need price history for our app as well. So I upped this to 500 to give us some buffer on the services that we'll need to pay for. And then finally, hosting. I think that we can get away with hosting for $100 or less. We shall see. Bear, you have a question on how I can calculate that? You're welcome to come up and ask that question if you like, Bear. Bear, what's your question?
Yeah, no, I was just wondering how you guys might be calculating the future BCard rewards or BCard ropes.
Oh, well, that is a big question, actually. But if I pop open our accounting sheet, I'll send you a link to our accounting sheet, and you can just take a look. But what we're doing is we're essentially doing like the same rate as bank. 1,000 bank per hour. You get 1,000 BCard. So for every bank you get BCard, and everyone has the option to defer their bank or a percentage of their bank for BCard. So I'm deferring 100% of my bank for BCard. So instead of getting 1,000 bank and 1,000 BCard per hour, I'm getting 2,000 BCard per hour because I've decided that that's the way that I want to do it. So some people have 20%, some people have 0%, some people have 50%, whatever it is, that's how we're calculating it. Does that answer your question, Bear?
Yeah.
All right, great. On the grant side, Gnosis and Safe have both told us that they're not going to give us any grants. Longhash X, we're still waiting on. They actually reached out to us to join their accelerator. But we've decided that we're not going to rely on grants for our proof of concept. We're going to focus on the crowdfund. Last week, we started asking very small group of Bankless DAO members if they would support us to do a proof of concept, and we actually got a ton of support. There's 15,000 of the 30,000 that we need committed, and 8,000 of that is in the multi-sig already. Okay, so we're doing essentially a friends and family crowdfund. These are people who know us. These are people who trust us. The minimum amount is $1,000 US. So if you know anyone, you're interested, or you know someone else who's interested in doing 1,000 to 2,000 US, then send them my way. Send them to me or NF Thinker, and we'll get this round filled out. We already have pretty much enough that we need to launch this thing, and the people who are supporting us, they're basically trusting us to make those donations, because they are donations, they can't be investments. We cannot have an investment contract, to make them worth something. So ultimately, we're hoping that we're going to give them an NFT in October to show that they donated and supported, and we're going to hopefully do a redemption for those into BCard when we release our token. And what we want to do ultimately is kind of balance the contributor, the investor, and the user stay in our product. So that's how we're looking right now on the fundraising side. So yeah, let me know if you are interested, or if you know anyone that's interested.
Just a quick question there, Lynx, just in regards to the, I know no official terms or whatever, but I was kind of wondering if you were going to be doing anything informal in terms of like documentation about the donations being solicited. I've held off kind of asking my friends and family with the absence of any specific, loose term.
Mm-hmm. So what we will give them right now is an attestation and an NFT. And what I'm going to be doing informally, I have that cap table doc where I kind of group all of the BCard anyone has ever earned into a single doc. I'm going to be doing some calculations in that doc for these donations as well. So any donators, I'm going to be starting to look at it in there and figuring out how we can balance this. But in terms of documentation for the users, it is an NFT and an attestation.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, so we actually have a contributor NFT that Bobo worked on. We're going to be editing that, and it's going to turn into a donator NFT, and we'll probably have 3 levels because we have 3 different types of people coming in, 1,000 USD, 1 ETH, and 2,000 USD. And for you, Tom, we'll have a very special one for 0.75 ETH. All right. Our POC is ready to launch. Just as a reminder for the phases of our proof of concepts, just our execution, our alpha app is going to be blockchain functionality, things like login, send and receive tokens, DApp logins, these kinds of things. Our beta will be our fiat functionality, things like KYC, add funds, get a card, spend those funds. And our launch app, this is the app that we'll actually launch with in mid to late November, is our DAO functionality. Select a DAO, get rewards for your spending. Okay, so that's how we're looking at the execution right now. And we're currently working on the alpha app. I created a view to see the progress right here. So it's in this requirement stock. Hazu and Tom, this is probably something that you've seen before. Here's a requirement stock. Here's our user stories, or sorry, our use cases rather. And you can see I've attached a percentage to each of these. So ultimately, for the 10 use cases that we have in our alpha app, we're 12% complete. So we're currently 12% complete our alpha app, and you can see there's a bigger jump that once we get from implementation to user testing, there's a 40% jump there, and from user testing to complete, there's a 30% jump there. So in these early stages, we'll get less progress, but we should see some jumps as we get that POC out the door on people's phones so that they can actually use it. Make sense? Does this view make sense for people?
Yep, it does for me.
Yep.
Okay, great. So we're going to go to 2 times weekly meets on Mondays and Thursdays for the next 6 weeks to help get us moving fast. Hazu, if you're able to fill in that lettuce meet, that would be great. I will book the meeting based upon that. We have our sign up specified, initial prototypes created on the dev side. We also have our wallet functionality specified and ready for dev. This week, hoping to have a progressive web app ready for people to use by this time next week. And next up, we have DApp sign up, log out, and recover accounts. They're all coming in terms of our specification. So that's the progress on our alpha app. Going down to card issuing, I met with Transcard yesterday, and I signed the deal because I want us to get us want to get us going on the diligence side of things. Diligence will take 6 to 8 weeks. So we just want to make sure that we are in that diligence flow. So I signed the deal yesterday, and the next steps are bank diligence. So this should take 6 to 8 weeks. Legal, we have all the legal entities that we need. We have everything that we need. We have a US-based account, a US-based legal entity, but we're waiting for US-based bank account. So this is supposed to take another 4 weeks. So we'll see. Hopefully in 4 weeks, we'll have that US-based bank account. DAO partners, we have partnered to 1 to 3 DAOs for our POC, pretty much complete. We have Bankless DAO and Nouns DAO locked in. Launch campaign. How's this going, Coffee Crusher?
So I met with yesterday with Samantha. She's going to be helping with, which is a great connection. So Samantha, that's on our multi-sig. She's going to be doing the long form content. So and including the landing pages. So what I'm thinking for the campaign is going to be, the email, the newsletters, right, which is the Substack Mirror, and then having a landing page specific. So it's 3 versions: one for nouns, one for BCard people, and one for kind of I'll call it the greater non-specific to a DAO. So she's what I need to get to her is some sort of talking points so she can start write out the content. But I think what we're going to do is the landing page copy first.
Awesome. All right, related assets. Our website, Taxman, and blog are updated. Website, good enough for now, I think. Tom did some work on that, so I think we're okay. Taxman date selection, we may need to pay for a service, but we are fundraising so that we can actually pay for that service right now. So we should be okay on that front too.
Oh, I just wanted to jump in and just advise everyone if they did want to take a peek, the latest development build is pushed up to the live server, and so you should be able to do your date selections now to expand the default selections. and there should be a more graceful fallback ability that exists such that it will use the oldest available price if our API server calls fail, and the newest available price if our API server calls fail. So I think obviously the core dates of the tokens and the currencies that we had all for 2022 should still be applicable for the entire application. And if you go beyond those bounds, there's something like on the order of like 30 to 50 tokens that will be able to be pulled from the API service before we start hitting that rate limit.
All right. Awesome. Thanks, Tom. I appreciate that update. Let's look at our task perspective. We're a little bit over than we normally get here. Oh, I have to duplicate this task. Duplicate task. And I always forget ISO week. What is the ISO week? Week 40. Nice. Week 40 assignees. All right. And while that's going, we will go down here. Oh, yes. Optimism Retro PGF. This is now open for us to apply to. Hazu, I know that you spoke to someone. I also spoke to someone at Optimism as well, and they said, you should apply because last time everyone got something. So, Hazu, are you wanting to apply for this, or do you want me to do it?
I mean, if we can apply, will be nice because there is a full thing that we did for this. So, if you want to fill the things, I can deliver the design. I don't know what they are asking us, but let me know.
Okay, I'm going to put it into this week. So we have our role salaries here, and yes, I spent 10 hours on Bankless Card in the last week. Hazu, did you spend at least 5 hours in the last week?
No, I'm going to spend in this weekend.
Okay. And I'm sure NF Thinker did. Tom, did you spend at least 5 hours on Bankless Card in the last week?
Yes, sir.
All right. And Coffee Crusher, did you spend at least 5 hours on Bankless Card in the last week?
Yes, sir.
All right. Hey, Rainus, I see that you snuck in there. Did you spend 5 hours on Bankless Card in the last week? I don't know if you can hear me. I will ask Rainus later. Ask Rainus. All right. Moving on. I'll put that in the inbox for now. We have signed with card issuers. That is kind of ongoing. We're not going to worry about these other ones because Transcard is who we're signing with. Funding needed. That's in progress. Legal entities. We've already talked about these milestones, but looking down. So Safe DAO grants. We didn't get it. I'm going to take it out of the all team projects to get it out of our thing. Didn't get it. All right. And I will put it in the Grant Squad, done, and the Ops Weekly. It's pretty much done. All right. Long Hash, we're still waiting from them. We have a US-based bank account. We're still waiting on this. Transcard, well, I did sign with them, but now we are waiting. I guess this is actually done. So I signed with Transcard. So now we have to go through diligence. So that is done. Let's go through bank diligence. All right. Okay, so that's happening right now. Optimism Retro PGF, we just talked about this. This is the one that we actually needed. We have gone through diligence with Transcard. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and move that. We've gone through diligence with Transcard. That is happening now. Friends and family round. I would say that this is pretty important. I'll leave it up here, but essentially, we were looking to have 20 to 30K in our multi-sig for this. This is ongoing. Create requirements for the alpha app. This is actually to review. Anna Fan said that she would review it and get back to me. She kind of confirmed that again yesterday, so hopefully we'll wait for that. Ibiza next. It's happening today. I'm going to leave it into the this week section. Rainus and NF Thinker and Anna Fan are there. Okay, Hazu, you had something to say? Oh, I couldn't quite hear you, Hazu. I'm not sure if you had something important to say, but I couldn't hear you. If you're unable to speak or for whatever reason, feel free to type it in the chat.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, thanks. Yes, so we have a Visa Next going on. Rainus, do you want to? I see that you popped up here. Do you want to say anything related to a Visa Next?
Hey, what's up? Live from Ibiza Next. We are here. Wait, there's Andy.
And
And we're at the hub.
amazing.
Yeah, and this is, wait, I'll do a chamber. Oh, and NF is over there doing some networking. And this is the morning spot, and we got to move to the evening spot, which is in a few hours in a different place. So the first day is half over.
Amazing.
Everything's going fine currently. We have a media plan of what we want to do. Already started filming. March is going to be performing this evening. Tomorrow we'll be focusing on like reels and interviews and intro content like that. We had some interest in crypto poker. A guy from BCard, which is a metaverse space, came up to us because NF is wearing a crypto poker shirt, and he said he wants to set up crypto poker in his in BCard, and they have like 400,000 people user base or something like that. So Tom will probably get a contact from NF about this.
Sounds exciting.
Yep. So yeah, usual networking, handing out cards. I don't know how many signups we have gotten today. Probably minimal because we only arrived here 2 hours before the end of the first part because our bus broke down. So we were just waiting in the middle of nowhere for the second bus for an hour. But yeah, it was fun. Weather's great. Everything's going to plan, and we are in content creation mode. Yeah.
All right, awesome. Content creation mode is a good mode to be in. We briefly spoke about our POC launch campaign already, so I won't worry about that again. I will say that it seems like it's getting a little bit more important, so I'll stick it up there. Implementation that will work for account abstraction. How are you doing on this, Tom Trammer?
I've spent all of yesterday sort of reassessing all of my decisions and sort of narrowed it back down to what we had discussed earlier in the week in terms of starting with Web3 auth as a service provider in terms of basic authentication and using some Alchemy tools in the back end to hopefully streamline the wallet operations and gasless account abstraction features for our law.
Awesome. Sounds great. B, for you, I'm going to put this into next up because we don't really necessarily need to work on it right now. In fact, Lord Elba told me to focus on the deal with Transcard for now. Website V2, I think that this is, well, there's some stuff that we could do here, but I think it's okay. You fixed the investor and sign-up contact form already, didn't you, Tom?
Yeah, that should be fixed. I think the blog link is also fixed, and I think we did a bit of the titling updates as well.
Okay, I'll just assign this to myself and review it. View website, I'm adding it to my list. All right.
I have a question. Sorry, I have a question. So, which relates to go-to-market strategy and the website. Did you just say that are we going to be putting a blog? Like, did you just say that we put a blog link on our page?
Yeah, so if you go to banklesscard.xyz, there is a blog link right here. Okay, and yeah, it isn't fixed actually, and I don't think you have all the assets you need, but essentially we would need to put it here. Oh wait, no, where is it? So it's just going to Sam J's article here. Samantha Marin's article here, and it should go to here, Bankless Card.
Oh, I see. To the mirror. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
If you wanted to go somewhere else, just let me or Tom know, and we can also fix that too.
No,
right?
that's fine. That's totally fine. I mean, for the initial what we're doing with the POC and the go-to-market strategy, I was all ears perked up when we said blog and website, because Samantha and I were talking about, where things would go first and, where the priority is and so forth. So, okay, no, that's perfect. Keep it at mirror. That works great.
Yeah, we might need to update sort of the poster link for that blog if we're going to make it the blog main header rather than a specific article, because I know right now the poster card is calling out that specific article, I think, which is why maybe I left the thing in there. So just a little bit of UI stuff.
Cool. I'll try to grab the correct image and all that kind of good stuff as well. And then I can either give it to you or do it myself. We shall see. All right. Go to market strategy doc. Are you still working on this? Is it the same as the launch campaign, or should I put it under should I make it a subtask of the launch campaign?
Yeah, can you make it I was just going to say, can you make it a subtask? It's not identical, but it's going to be coincided, and the priority right now is the POC launch campaign. And that's going to sort of, the regular go-to-market is going to be sort of, like they'll be created async, so to speak. So, out of that. But yeah, if you could put it as a subcategory, that'd be great.
Yep, no problem. It's in there already. And then we have website V2, which I said I'm going to take on. Customer journey maps. Renus, I don't know if you're still working on this. I don't know if we have Renus right now. All right. I'll leave it there for now, and then Glean.ai, NF Thinker is working on. Everything else I will keep down here for now, but if you have things that you want to add on here, just something to that you're working on, then you can put it in here, no problem. Okay, so just let me know or let someone else know, but essentially that's what we're working on right now. And yeah, that takes us through our task perspective, and let's get down to the what we shipped last week. My favorite part of the meeting. So I signed a deal with Transcard. I shipped wireframes and visual designs for W1, W3, and W4. Anafant shipped wireframes for W1. NF Thinker and myself collected 8K to the multi-sig. We also got 4K more commits than last week, and we made a list of investors to reach out to as well. It's quite a long list, so we'll take a look. NF Thinker, Renus, and Anafant made a presentation for Ibiza Next. I reviewed that presentation, and they're going to be giving it, I think, a little bit later this week. I shipped my payroll, and NF Thinker actually found 100,000 bank error in my payroll. So that was quite a catch by NF Thinker. Definitely needs to be commended there for catching that. And the multi-sig signed that, so it's out the door already. I also created a method to show product progress, which I showed in the past. All of a sudden, we have a duplicate down here of these things, and then we're into the discussion items. I didn't actually prepare any discussion items because I thought I was going to go through the POC because Hazu was here. We did kind of go through that already, and now Hazu's not here. But yeah, does anyone else want to talk about anything while we're here together? We have a good chunk, 20 minutes, so we can get into certain more deep topics if you like.
So, not a deep topic, but, like we have a date of mid to late November. When will we have the POC? When will we have like a pretty strong date of when that will be?
So it's as we are starting it's likely that like we will have that in early to mid-November. It really depends on how diligence goes in October. There are some non-standard things that we've done with our legal entities, and that could cause diligence to take longer. But it's essentially the information that we get in October will help us figure out whether or not mid to late November is a good date. Honestly, I want to ship this thing as soon as possible. So if we could even do it sooner than that, that would be great. But from what I understand, that's not necessarily realistic.
Okay, because that relates to a lot of the it relates to everybody doing everything, but it also, one of the things I was talking about with Samantha for the POC launch campaign and her contributions to that is I want to do content that's sort of before event, during the launch, and then a couple of things after launch, right? Before, during, and after. And so that will affect when we get that date, how aggressive that timeline gets, because I need to give her timeline with dates of when I want to drop things. So
Okay. All right, I will let you know as soon as I know. But ultimately, they haven't given us a strong date just because they can't. And we have like that legal entity that needs to go through diligence, and that is apparently the limiting factor right now. After that, the next limiting factor will be our proof of concept, like the app itself. Sorry. So yeah, these are the two things we're working on.
and then related to that, sorry, we got all the questions today. So in regards to nouns, so I saw on the Telegram group that nouns is starting to ramp up again. That's going to be one of the things that I'm just sort of bringing up as a, how soon they can start talking about what their needs are, what their marketing channels are, how they can co-market and so forth. So I just want to bring that up as not a red flag, but just more of a, just aware, because that will affect our POC with them, our campaign.
Yeah, I think the best way to tackle that is to basically set a meet with the people in the DM and basically say like, hey, we're starting to work on these launch campaigns. We really would like to understand more about your community, and just like book an hour of their time if you can.
Got it. Okay, perfect. And then in regards to BDAO, because that's our other partner, do you have recommendations, links of kind of like, we kind of need, I mean, I know there's you as a champion, but how we sort of, I mean, I have ideas that we can do it through, we have a special sign-up page and we promote it through the community calls and put it out on certain channels and the announcement channels and so forth. But do we have other non-BDAO members that are Bankless Card members that are in that can be champions for us?
Yeah, so the newsletter team, yes, newsletter team, Hero, BCard, and I guess like marketing, but this is you in the marketing department, right?
Yeah, and like kind of my experience with marketing, and I'm sure Renus will agree, is that I think we're going to have to provide the assets for them, the content for the marketing team, which is, and then get them to push it on their channels, like their social channels. So we'll do our social channels, but I also want to promote, get them to help. I'm not expecting, because there's a lot of interesting, I don't want to say politics with, the marketing department, is that it's easier if we provide our own content and just sort of get them to help promote it with their channels. And Bankless headquarters, yeah, that's something that I haven't even, like how we sort of negotiate that. That's a conversation.
Yeah. I mean, so ultimately, I am going to try to just get like some very high touch Bankless HQ support in terms of, can you retweet this? Can you comment on this? Because I just know the reply guy at Bankless headquarters. But if we want like a deeper integration with them, we're going to need to get this proof of concept out, and it's actually doing something. Basically, when I talked to them at Permissionless, they were like, do something good and we'll talk about it. Like that's yeah, they are, let's say, fiercely independent.
Okay, perfect. So we just have to do the content, post the content, and then get their attention that they can repost, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
For Bankless headquarters HQ.
Exactly. And I'm sure there are other things that we can do, like community call team, new joiners sessions, other things like that. But ultimately, it's kind of like like international media nodes and stuff like that. It won't work for this run because it's all US based. We could still, gather signups if we want from international communities, but that's essentially what Rainus is trying to do with BCard ambassadors. But for the POC, if we want to maximize our efforts, I wouldn't say that those groups are the ones we need as much So I'm not. Yeah.
The international marketing note, I mean, yes, but I think that's when we start launching in other countries, so to speak, right?
Exactly.
Non-English speaking countries, I should say. So, yeah, I think the community call, the new joiner session, I didn't think of the new joiner session, but that's actually a great idea. And then, of course, getting on the announcement channel, but I'm thinking that we have sort of a, promoting it, have a slide on the community call, bring it up several times, and then have some sort of sign up page that's sort of, like a tally form or whatever we use. And that'll be the landing page that goes to, the BCard members. That we can use also for our external BCard promotions. I'm sorry, Bankless DAO versions of BCard.
Yeah.
Yeah, one more thing I was going to say, have you thought about making bank, the making bank podcast? I know you have been on there, I don't know if you have thoughts on going back there to just do like a podcast. You might do that with Kenneth to talk about like POC and launch time and all of that. So that's possible.
Oh, thank you, Winverse. That's fantastic. I didn't even, of course, with Crypto Sapiens and.
Yeah, there's a bunch. There's a bunch more, right? Like ZFi and Zim Timor doing one. Yeah, so we could. I would say that we should lead this more to when we are actually ready for launch. Like, I wouldn't want to do these podcasts now. I would want to do them like in November, December.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like those topics would be like as the during launch open, like November, like you're saying, like launch at time of launch kind of campaigns.
Exactly.
It builds momentum because those podcasts have a lot of audience.
Do they?
So,
okay, I haven't really seen as much.
Yeah, I mean, I know Crypto Sapiens definitely does, and I know Making Bank does.
Like, what kind of audience are we talking?
Well, I mean, they're always. I mean, they get a pretty big. Like they're promoting it also on as almost like AMA, well, not AMAs, but they have it on Twitter Spaces as well. So they kind of have. They have it in addition. They promote it on their Twitter pages. So I think it's really good for both of those, especially. I think those are good things to have during launch, like November, to help get the word out because it's like it's going to be written content, it's going to be social content, it's going to be video content, and then it's going to podcasts I didn't even think of. So thank you, Universe. I think is another way for sort of getting the communication out.
Yeah. And then I've been on the Pool Together podcast and community call in the past. I could get back on there if I wanted. Mean Brains, he had me on the City DAO podcast. He could do that again. He's a Bankless DAO member. And a Nouns-based community call or podcast, if there's some way that we can ask Nouns about that, and that's something that we could do as well. Like Twitter Spaces as well.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and I presume they have some sort of podcast or community call or something for Nouns.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, cool. All right. In terms of the campaigns, anything else that you want to talk about, Coffee Crusher?
No, I mean, those were kind of my burning questions. It's kind of like, so sorry, I didn't want to take everybody do this on the call as part of our roundtable, but
no, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, we're together. We can use it.
Yeah, so that was kind of my main burning questions of kind of, and what I'll do is, like you said, my action items. I'll reach out to the Nouns team and see if I can book some time with them and see how they communicate and what they do and how we can plug into that.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. And sorry, go ahead.
One thing, just want to raise my hand to help with the campaign as well. So, for being the DMs, love to help out with the campaign planning.
Yeah, so Winverse is raising his hand too. Winverse, your microphone is a little hard to hear sometimes. But Coffee Crusher, you may just want to rally people either at the existing communications call or create just like a specific launch campaign call that Sam can attend. so that all of the launch campaign efforts, you have like a tactical meeting similar to this one or the one that we have for operations. You could have a tactical meet to just get people rallied.
Got it. Okay, perfect.
Yeah. All right. And there was something else that was on the tip of my mind that I wanted to. Oh, yeah. As well, Tom, you may want to take a look at the meeting notes from Transcard yesterday, because I asked some technical questions that were interesting. So I'm going to go into this a little bit more, but they're using LexisNexis, and I was going through their API, Transcard API, which is at the top of this meeting as well. Oh, no, I didn't put it there, but I will put it there.
That's okay. I was going through their APIs earlier this week as well and sort of pulling down the ones that I thought would be sort of the most essential things. And I did have on my question list if you had any sort of technical implementation discussions. So that's great that maybe that came up in the meeting.
Yeah, so
I can take a look at this.
For us as well is to get that meeting with like one of their technical people. So she said that she would get that going as well. So I'll poke her.
Yeah, so they're going to hook that up. Yeah, that is obviously one thing that's on my mind in terms of just making sure we're not shooting ourselves in the foot in terms of future integrations as we build out sort of the alpha version.
I'm especially worried about whether or not we can use a PWA. So that is what I would want to ask the IT person. Are you ready for that discussion? Should I just try to push for that discussion as soon as possible?
Sure. I guess the sooner the better that we find out sort of those answers, because that for sure, if we need to platform shift, is going to take some time.
Okay. I will put that in here. Set up meet with Transcard technical contact. Okay, great. All right, cool. Anything else that anyone wants to talk about while we're all here together?
Sorry, the one other technical question that I did sort of have on my mind this week was in regards to our instantiation of an API server. It's likely something that we're going to have need of for interfacing with the Transcard specific APIs. I don't think most API services that I've encountered in the past don't let you go straight from client. They need you to sort of pass direct to a static server, which is fine, which is totally not going to be an issue. My main concern is the deployment thereof and our infrastructure team discussions, because as you might have noted in the past, I've sort of had difficulty coordinating with our principal tech, even in terms of getting DNS entries recorded. So I didn't know if we wanted to start sooner rather than later having that discussion with the tech team.
Yeah, we can do that as well. Let me put that on my list as well. Contact InfoSec to get this stuff up and running. Yeah, so in general, I was thinking we'll probably just use DigitalOcean because we have a team on there already, unless you want to use something like AWS or something else. As well, there are some APIs which we don't want to route through our server, specifically the KYC APIs where customers will upload pictures of their driver's license and potentially their social security number, right? So we don't want to touch that data with a 10-foot pole. So there are some APIs and SDKs which get used, and this might preclude us from using a PWA. That's why we want to take a look at this sooner rather than later. But yeah, there are some APIs which we don't use, which we won't route through our servers.
Yep, sounds good. And just I guess that'll come along with the pipeline for the implementation specifics with the Transcard and whatnot.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Anything else that anyone wants to talk about while we're all here? All right. Well, I just want to say a quick thank you to everyone. As I mentioned earlier in the call, we are never as close as we have been now to launching that proof of concept. And let's not forget that from our pitch blitz, that proof of concept is a key factor into whether or not this thing is going to be a success. Ultimately, this proof of concept, we can use it to show to validate our hypothesis in the market that these DAO communities, these Web3 communities, are filled with passionate individuals just like yourself who are willing to support their community through using a payment card. Okay, that is the key hypothesis of this product. That is the hypothesis that this proof of concept will test. And if we prove this, the sky is the limit. Okay, so thank you everyone for putting your effort towards this. I know that it is a tight timeline, and I know that there's still a lot that can go wrong. But ultimately, right now, everything is going right. So let's keep moving forwards, one step at a time. Even if we don't hit this timeline, we'll hit the next one. And all of the work that we're putting in now, all of the effort and love that you're putting into this product, into these campaigns, into everything that we're doing to get this proof of concept out the door, that is getting us closer to our goal. So yeah, never forget that. And thank you everyone for being on this journey with me. I'm having the time of my life, and I hope you are too.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thanks
that.
so much, Links.
That was awesome.
Thanks everyone. Talk to you later.